Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin. Let's start it off with the Lucky Suns autograph of the day. Oh, this is a guy that we might get to for one of those not such a legend, but really cool dude. Butch Fair. Butch Fair. Probably one of the most forgotten Suns players ever, but I saw him play. He was a garbage time player back in the mid to late 70s. All right, so that is the Lucky Suns basketball, which I've had with me for most of my natural-born life. All right, so let's get to it. A really quick note, NBA regular season schedule comes out tomorrow, Thursday the 14th. NBA regular season begins Tuesday, October 21st. No, there isn't a single Suns Christmas Day game or a Martin Luther King Day game. The Suns are not going to be featured in the NBA this year. That's okay. It's their loss. We'll get there. So let's finish up with point guard prospects. Now, these aren't technically guys that the Suns are after or looking at. They're all looking at them, but no, there's no inroads to getting these guys. I just want to point out point guards of the future on other teams that down the road, if their name comes up again, so far so good with these guys. A.J. Mitchell of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Didn't even hear about him from the defending champs. He can play point or shooting forward. He can facilitate. He can play the two with ease. Sweet stroke with the left hand. Not yet a starter. And he's more in the Tyus Jones mode, body type mentality. And don't rip on Tyus Jones for not working out with the Suns last year. That wasn't entirely on him. He did what he was asked to do, and then he wasn't asked to do anything, so he did what he could do. But probably a better upside than Tyus Jones. So A.J. Mitchell of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've all heard of Scoot Henderson of the Portland Trail Blazers. He can play point or shooting guard. He seems more comfortable at point, even though he can attack the rim. Tons of potential, but injuries and a Blazer team that, in my humble opinion, is not helping his case and doesn't help a lot of young players unless there's somebody like Brandon Roy or a young Damian Lillard who doesn't really need a lot of help. I don't remember the Blazers recently developing a really good young team. He is getting playing time. The talent is there. There's still lots of questions. He was supposed to be better than he was at this point. The famous story with Scoot Henderson is wearing these goggles now that he thinks are cool and stylish, but they were really because of corrective lenses. There was something wrong, supposedly, with his eyesight. He said everything is fine now. He is best when attacking. As they said, he's good at getting to the rim. And fun fact, nephew of former champ and all-star Horace Grant. So Scoot Henderson, I'm not going to say he's a late bloomer. There's just a lot of hiccups in the early part of his career, and there still are. But you can really see that this guy could be a serious gamer. And finally, we did 3 or 4 yesterday. So I'm just wrapping up the list of the guys that I was just looking around the league and going, that guy might work, that guy might work, that guy might work. Anthony Black, the Orlando Magic. Now this guy excites a lot of people. Really good defender. Like one of those guys that who taught him to play defense? He just is really good at it. He's also really long. Good handle. Good focus, plays with a high energy, plays like he's been in the league longer than he has. He is getting minutes for the Orlando Magic, and make no mistake, the Magic are up and coming, and they are going to make some noise in the playoffs this coming year. You can't teach his physicality. He's a natural athlete. He is 6'7". Remember the name Anthony Black. I don't think the Magic are going to be getting rid of him anytime soon, but if that guy becomes available, that's somebody to look at. All right, moving on to Mike Mscala, and Loyal Suns latest viewer, Curious Minds 2525, pointed this out, and I thought it was something important. This is from Curious Minds. The Sun, and thank you, by the way. You're the best. I absolutely love getting your comments. The Suns hired recently retired power forward Mike Mscala as an assistant coach for player development. Remember, we talked about Coach Jordan Ott, who made his bones with the video, and as a player development coach. So he is delegating player development to guys who were playing in the league just a couple of years ago. Now that is a quality move, as there's someone to bring current and relevant information to Suns big men. Mike Mscala, who just played last year. I think his last year was in 23-24. I might be wrong, but I think he retired 2 years ago. I could be wrong. Wait a sec. Let me get my math right. 23, 24, 20. Yeah, 2 years ago. Okay. Mscala, who just played, will actually be able to scrimmage with the team. That's kind of cool. You have an assistant coach who can bang around with the big guys. He can help what needs to be done. It's his first NBA coaching position. Mike played 11 years, officially retiring after the 23-24 season. Okay. Mscala played in 548 career games: Hawks, Sixers, Lakers, Thunder, Celtics, Wizards, and Pistons. This is an interesting type of coach, someone who is definitely going to be scrimmaging with all the young power forwards. We talked about it yesterday. I like the fact that we have 4 guys that can potentially play power forward, including projected starter Ryan Dunn. But I like the idea that there's 4 guys there. And also, Dunn and Fleming, they can switch off. In fact, I think Dunn can go shooting guard once the shooting percentage gets up. I don't think that's a fact. That's just what I think. Okay, so yeah, welcome, Coach Mike Mscala. We'll see how that goes. But I like the idea that they're focusing on player development. You know why? Because we have a lot of young players and we need it. And also, thank you for your comments. Here come a bunch more. And thank you for subscribing to Suns Latest. This is a lot of fun, and thank you to FanArch. All right, @_XDS_. Ant is not better than Booker. Oh, Anthony Ant on Minnesota. He's a better defender. And currently, you'll find it hard for most NBA fans to say that Devin Booker is better unless you're loyal Suns fans, even as a loyal Suns fan. And I'm getting a lot of flack, which is fine, for people telling me that they don't think that I like Devin Booker. Are you out of your mind? He's the frickin' franchise. And I love Devin Booker. I think this year he's going to be top 5 in the league. I think he's going to be top 5 in scoring. I think he's going to be first team All-NBA because it looks like they're going to let him be Devin Booker again. When was he at his best? When Chris Paul was next to him. And Chris Paul 100% was the facilitator, and Devin Booker was free to be Devin Booker. So that being said, I'm also very truthful. I think he's I think head-to-head, it seems like Ant has an easier time stopping Book than Book does stopping him. It's just a physicality thing. Booker's just not a lockdown defender. I also think this season things will even out as long as Book is allowed to be Book. At Russ Carver Truth Jedi 259. These names are just mind-boggling. This is interesting, and it starts off talking about Luka Doncic of the Lakers. Luka is a byproduct of the NBA officiating being the worst of any professional sport, and I don't know why the NBA seems to hate the Phoenix Suns so much, but we never get any respect. Even when we had guys like Barkley or KD, we didn't get respect. And the most underrated player in the NBA is definitely Devin Booker. Think about Steve Kerr, one of the best coaches in the league. He can't stop raving about Book. That's a fact. I think I'll take his word for it over the fans who never see us play. It doesn't help that since Jerry Colangelo sold the team to Sarver, they've been in constant decline. Well, the Nash years weren't really decline, but I agree with the no respect during the Nash years. I'm glad we finally got rid of James Jones, who didn't draft Halliburton. I would have fired him 10 seconds after he made that pick. I think it was time to move on from James Jones. He did some good stuff as well. Devin Booker is one of the most double-team players in the NBA, yet 9th in scoring last year. He's exceptional, pours his heart out for his team and this city. I want him to win so badly. It's like Larry Fitzgerald all over again. Larry Fitzgerald, the great Cardinals receiver. The reason I have Luka as the most overrated player in the NBA is because if NBA officiating was legitimate, and a foul was a foul no matter who it was, that unathletic bully would foul out of a game in the first 5 minutes of every single time. He literally commits an offensive foul every single time he has the ball in his hands. I think that just as much for Giannis as well. Giannis, the Greek freak. So, even like the professionals don't know how to say his name. So I'm glad I'm not getting paid. I'm glad he's not on our team because he would foul out in the first 5 minutes of every game. He wouldn't be so-called legendary status. I can't comment on that. That's a whole lot to unwrap. I do think officiating the NBA is player per player, game per game, and I wish that crap would stop. From @JJ-JU6KY, 1977, Suns versus Trailblazers was my very first pro sporting event. My grandpa took me. That's rad. Thank you for sharing that, and welcome to Suns Latest. @Dagoon R, you always have really cool stuff to say. We forgot that Ricky Rubio built and put the fire in the team that CP3 inherited. Not saying CP3 did nothing, but he adopted a well-oiled machine that someone else built. People want to act like he walks on water, that's fine, but this fan didn't forget. Ricky Rubio was the first glimpse we got at how effective Devin Booker could be with a true point guard next to him. You're 100% right. Chris Paul just upped that game. @Monkey Touch, welcome back, my friend. Jackson and Fleming would be a great 1-2 punch at power forward. Why does nobody have any faith in Nigel Hayes or mention him starting? The dude can ball. I think Hayes Davis' short NBA time has left an asterisk by his name. He's with the Lakers for a second. He Nobody really knew what to make of him. There was no question that he could play, but nobody knows kind of who he is. Yeah, he can ball. Can he do it in the NBA? Preseason will help answer that. It's still a good problem to have. Ryan, Dunn, Rushier, Fleming, Oso Iguodala, and Hayes Davis, all working with brand new coach Mike Mscala, all in the power forward spot. And a few of them can switch back and forth. From @that_review_guy. Can't wait for the daily clickbait. Oh, thanks. At JJ-JU6KY. Wait, didn't I just... Yeah, you talked about the Suns versus Trailblazers. Now you're talking about... Oh, now you're agreeing with that review guy. Right, I have commented the same thing, but he keeps doing it. Gonna unsub soon if it keeps up. Some people are fickle. At DKADOI. I agree. If he titled the video Suns latest episode 55 or something like that, it would be good. I unsubbed from Suns Valley podcast for this reason. I like this show, but I can't stand these dumb titles. Suns Valley podcast is like really good. Why would you unsubscribe from something that's really good that you just said you really like because of a headline that you know is to grab attention? You just wrote, I like this show. So why would you unsubscribe from something you like? You like the content. You know what the content's going to be. You know everything past the headline. But since you know what the content's going to be, why does the headline have to do with anything? Just go to the show that you like and don't make yourself suffer. Poor buddy. I feel terrible about that. Anyway, thank you for your comments. I have to have some fun with that because the idea of commenting on what you don't like and then saying forget it. You know what? Do what you want to do. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you watching no matter what. All right, moving on to the all-time team. Now, we already been through this. I picked the top 5 plus a 6-man. Now we are going to do this thing. NBA teams are allowed 15 total players on a current roster, 12 active, 3 inactive. So we will now pick the Suns' all-time 15, not by position. Let's do the requirements one more time. I think you know what they are. At least one NBA All-Star selection or at least one All-NBA selection. It doesn't matter which team. Multiple first-team selections have a better chance of making the top 15. For example, Jason Kidd was a 3-time All-NBA first-team player with the Suns. Maybe he gets a notch above somebody else who, when the argument really comes down to if it's kind of even. Had to have won a major award while on the Suns. So Shaq and KD being MVPs with other teams doesn't count. At the same time, they were all-stars with us. Major award, MVP, Rookie of the Year, 6th Man of the Year, Most Improved Player, gets you on that list, gets you on the list, the first list, not the all-time team, even if you weren't an all-star. I'm not going to give their accolades. I'm just going to point out who I got right now to whittle down to 15. And then we're going to rank them. But right now we're just getting the 15. Chuck Barkley, Steve Nash, Devin Booker, KJ, Connie Hawkins, Paul Westphal, Walter Davis, Alvin Adams, Jason Kidd, Amari Stoudemire, Tom Chambers, Chris Paul, Sean Marion, Dan Marley, Dick Van Arsdale, DJ, Dennis Johnson, Kevin Durant, Larry Nance, Charlie Scott, Paul Silas, Gail Goodrich, Goran Dragic, Shaquille O'Neal, Jeff Hornacek, Steph Marbury, Leandro Barbosa, Boris Diaw, and Don Boozy. So that's the list. Let's pick one. Let's just start with one today, just so we have somebody on the list that we can all agree on. Okay? So this is the Suns' top 15. Let's start with Devin Booker. Does anybody have a problem with Devin Booker? This is not the ranking. It's just the first of the 15. We're picking 15, and then we're going to rank the 15. Right now, we'll start with Devin Booker. If there's an issue with that, hit me up in the comments on Suns Latest. I don't think there's going to be a problem with that. This doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out thing. I'm only picking one because I want to see who you pick next. Fair enough? All right. Let me know what you got as far as Suns stuff. If it's worth talking about, we're going to talk about it on Suns Latest. This is Suns Latest. We're going to take off. I am Rich Rubin. Thanks for tuning in. We will do this tomorrow.